Few presidents have laid down their lives for their country, but McKinley proved the exception to the rule from fighting in a war and ultimately being assassinated. Hi everyone, Ken here. Hit that like button and let's head out to Canton, Ohio to explore this house. In 1843, William McKinley was born into a working-class Ohio family. After attending local schools, he set his sights on college, but could not afford to finish his degree at Allegheny College. Without many options, McKinley enlisted in the Union Army during the Civil War, where he served with distinction and rose to the rank of brevet major. Meanwhile, Ida Saxton was growing up in an affluent Ohio family. Her father, James A. Saxton, was a successful banker who ensured that Ida and her siblings received a good education. She was not content with merely participating in social events and wanted to work as a cashier at her father's bank, an unusual occupation for a woman of status at the time. The two met in 1867 when McKinley moved to Canton, Ohio to establish his law practice following the Civil War. Their shared values and aspirations brought them close, and they were married a few years later in 1871. Unfortunately, their early marriage was marked by personal tragedies and challenges. The couple had two daughters, Catherine and Ida, both of whom died in childhood. The deaths profoundly affected Ida's mental health, leading to chronic migraines, depression, and eventually epilepsy. But her husband stood by her side, providing unwavering support while launching his political career. McKinley's venture into politics began with his election to Congress in 1876. He served multiple terms, becoming known for his advocacy of protective tariffs, which he believed would boost American industry and protect workers. In 1891, McKinley was elected governor of Ohio, where he made efforts to mediate labor disputes and support business interests, balancing the needs of workers and employers. His successful governance and growing national reputation set the stage for his presidential bid. The 1896 presidential election was a turning point. McKinley, with the strategic acumen of his campaign manager, Mark Hanna, ran a front porch campaign from his home in Canton. He emphasized economic stability, the gold standard, and protective tariffs, contrasting sharply with his opponent, William Jennings Bryan. McKinley's victory marked the beginning of a new era in American politics, and during this period, the McKinleys lived in the Saxton-McKinley House in Canton, Ohio, a palatial mansion which had been Ida's childhood home. The original back half of the house had been built in 1840, but was significantly expanded by 1870. The red brick mansion was adorned with a unified Second Empire-style facade, boasting a mansard roof and intricate architectural details. To enter the mansion, we will make our way below the veranda and open the front door. This brings us into the foyer, where a grand staircase twists along a rounded wall. Looking up, we find the ceiling and underside of the stairs covered in period wallpaper. Next, we find the formal parlor continuing the same decor themes, though I do want to point out the rounded millwork on the far side of the room. It's finishes like these, paired with marble fireplaces, that demonstrate that no expense was spared in the house's construction. The small parlor, also known as the family parlor, is a more intimate space where we can imagine the couple relaxing. Next, we will venture into the library, where glass-paned bookcases skirt the walls. Though more practically, William could be found in his office on the third floor. The dining room combines all of the best elements of the home we have seen so far, from rounded millwork to a marble fireplace. It would have been considered the pinnacle of fashion when the house was constructed. Of course, a family of such status would not have entered the kitchen, as their staff would be hard at work preparing their every meal. From here, the couple moved into the White House. McKinley's presidency was initially focused on economic recovery and tariff reforms. However, foreign policy soon dominated his agenda. The Cuban struggle for independence from Spain had garnered significant American sympathy. The explosion of the USS Maine in Havana Harbor in 1898 precipitated the Spanish-American War. Under McKinley's leadership, the U.S. emerged victorious, gaining control of Hawaii, Puerto Rico, Guam, and the Philippines. Despite these successes, McKinley's imperialistic policies drew criticism. Domestically, his administration worked to stabilize the economy, resulting in a period of prosperity. Re-elected in 1900, McKinley's second term was cut short by tragedy. On September 6, 1901, while attending the Pan American Exposition in Buffalo, New York, he was assassinated by an anarchist activist. Despite initial signs of recovery, McKinley succumbed to his wounds on September 14, 1901. Ida, who had long depended on her husband's support, was devastated by his assassination. She lived in Canton, Ohio for the remaining 6 years of her life, often visiting the Saxton-McKinley House, which had been their home and a symbol of their enduring partnership. Ida passed away in 1907 and was buried beside her husband in Canton's McKinley Memorial Mausoleum. The Saxton-McKinley House, now part of the First Lady's National Historic Site, stands as a testament to their lives, offering a glimpse into the personal and political legacy of one of America's pivotal presidential couples. In addition to being the home of a former US president, the site boasts the only library devoted to America's First Ladies, and it continues to be open to the public as a house museum. What did you think about the Saxton-McKinley House? Did you have a favorite room? Let me know down below in the comments section. And while you're there, make sure to hit the subscribe button so you never miss an exciting episode of This House.